Welcome back, Carry On Fire Fam. What can I say? It has been a little rough out here lately. First responder world has been hit with just numerous things left and right. I feel like there's a lot of negativity, myself included, and just like a general icky vibe in the world altogether. So today I've got two guests from the Thinline Collective who I'm hoping can help us change that. We're going to talk about their why behind the collective, their lives as a firewife and a LEO wife and a former LEO herself, and how we can really bring positivity amongst the families of first responders back. Um, Jennae is the wife of a firefighter, daughter of a retired fire chief, and sister of military and police officers. First responder life is all she's ever known and is what drives her to be the independent woman that she is. She's the mother of two wild boys and works in both construction as a residential project manager as well as residential lending. She's passionate about restoring a positive outlook to the first responder spouse life and family dynamic. Bree is the wife to a law enforcement sergeant, mom of two boys, and a former law enforcement professional turned realtor. Drawing from her firsthand experience inside the first responder life, she's passionate about mental health within the first responder families. She brings a grounded, real life perspective on resilience, balance, and supporting those who serve, both on and off duty. These women met bonding over shared life experience, positive marriages, the ups and downs of motherhood, and beyond. Bree and Jennae came together to start the Thin Line Collective to help create a community of support, understanding, and positivity for the first responder spouses. Because at the end of the day, although it is just a job of their husbands to everybody outside of this life, it affects so many aspects of their parenting, scheduling, careers, etc. And if any group of women need a community to lift them up, it's this one. So let's jump in.
Good. It's
Okay,
so good.
ladies, thanks for coming to chat with me today. Let's start with Jennae. Real, just off the bat, like you come from a long line of military and first
Yeah.
responders in your family. What was it like
Mhm.
growing up with a fire chief dad?
Uh, he's got a very, interesting personality. My dad is, he's used to being chief. He's used to being in charge, and so kind of growing up under that kind of strict, atmosphere and high expectation atmosphere was a challenging one as a young girl, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely not a life that I mean, outside looking in, it looked like I sought this out, right? That I was like out there hunting for either a police officer or a fireman. And I can tell you, I actively chose not to, and it just kind of ended up finding me. But yeah, but I
How
love it.
was your mom
Oh my
when,
gosh.
yeah.
Just in general. My mom's a saint. My mom is a very, very tough lady. She is very independent. She, puts up with a lot of shit, I would say. And I mean, she to this day is still my rock and my main source of support in life and motherhood. And the lovely thing about my mom is that she very, very clearly remembers what it's like to be married to a fireman, and so even when my husband has his own little personality quirks, my mom's like, she recognizes it, sees it, and knows how to support me through it. So it's lovely.
And then you've got military and police
Yeah.
siblings.
So, obviously fire police is an interesting thing, right? My dad being a fire chief had this expectation that, one of his four sons would, join the fire service, but no, they all were military and were in various police departments after military. So they
Did
They
that
crossed
just
over,
kind of
right?
Great
like,
way
Those
to go.
did that just stab him a little bit? Like,
I know, yeah. They always joke that they crossed over to the dark side a little bit, but
The
yeah,
good side.
the
the
good
good
side.
side. They chose guns over hoses, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a big jump. Okay. For me,
It
I don't
it
know.
really is. It really is.
What do you think the biggest difference is now versus then, like in the fire service, with your dad being chief and then you now being married to a firefighter? Like, what do you think is the biggest difference in the fire culture?
I think mental health awareness is a big one.
Mhm.
Cancer awareness is a really big one. The uh, socially acceptable, like, family dynamic and, including family and being very supportive of family is a big one. And it's not to say that, when I was growing up that, my dad didn't work for a department that was family first, right? My, siblings and I all got to be in the parade. My older brothers got to be, Smokey the Bear, walking down the street in the parade. But I do think that there was this not necessarily a family inclusive mentality, I would say, and it's definitely, it was shove your feelings down, you don't talk about it, you don't talk about, the hard stuff, and then also, I mean, there was, like, little to no PPE. I mean, that like, they didn't have, anything really protecting them, even to this day, my dad is deaf in his right ear because when, they would drive around in the fire engine, him sitting in the passenger seat, the alarm is going off in his right ear and all the windows are down, and that was, 24/7. And, now he has, the rest of his life with no hearing in the right ear. And that's just one example. My dad had skin cancer, he had prostate cancer, all of the things. And they're definitely taking better steps now, I would say, to make sure that and say those things don't happen because, I mean, unfortunately, cancer is a reality of the job, but in trying to prevent, it from getting worse or younger or doing whatever they can to help and support the firemen through it. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Bree, I'm just gonna ask you straight up, what is it like to
Yeah.
be married to a police officer right now?
Well, let me correct you because he'll be mad if he watches this. He's a sheriff. He's a deputy sheriff,
Sheriff,
not a police
excuse
officer.
me.
Very clear that there's
Ahem.
a distinguish between that.
What is
I was
it
actually a
like?
police
Yes.
officer,
Okay,
so
what is it like to be married to a sheriff?
yeah,
Right now.
actually, I he's a phenomenal man. It's actually crazy. Obviously, we're like every other normal family. We have issues and all of that, but it's so fun to watch him. Like I tell people all the time, he's been in for God, probably like 15 years now, and he's still like this young, giddy deputy that's just like excited to do things, but now he's like in a sergeant role. So now he gets to like make everybody else excited about it what he does. But it's a lot of fun. It's hard, obviously a lot of tears, a lot of sad stuff, but there's also like a lot of positives. Obviously we've got two young boys, so kind of watching them kind of look up to daddy, and we're like we watched the Sheriff Labrador show, and now we just love it when daddy comes home with his police car, babe, his sheriff car. But yeah, it's
Wasn't me this time.
yeah, it's the sheriff car. It's good. I never thought that this would be the route I went. I was in law enforcement, and I was like, nope, not going to marry a cop, not my thing. And then this angel of a human came along, and he's one of the good ones. But I'm really blessed just to have him. He's a good cop. He's a good man. It's just you'll catch me saying negative things, but you
Good
won't catch
dad,
me
too.
saying negative things. Yeah, phenomenal dad. Online, because he really is just all around, and just being married to the and then this lifestyle is just it's a lot of fun with him.
What was it like for you as a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a bit different for, females in the career, right? So, I only did 4 years. I had quite a bit of trauma in the short time that I was there. Um, it was fun. It had its moments. I think now when I look back on it, I think God had been telling me that law enforcement wasn't for me, but he was telling me that I'm here as a support person. And so I've kinda, like, leaned into that role more, and that's why I do these things with Jennae is because I've found that maybe law enforcement wasn't the route for me, but like being a spouse to law enforcement is, or being a mother with, kids who are raised in that environment is, and being a friend to a lot of these people. Um, that's kind of the route that I found. But I mean, law enforcement is just a beast in itself. And like I loved the time that I did, the experiences that I had. I still have a lot of people that are like family from it. But it really does take a special person, and that's not everybody. And it really takes a special family to like rally behind our law enforcement and our firefighters and all that. You'll hear me say law enforcement a lot just because that's my side of things.
Yeah.
I know you guys are fire,
Mhm.
but it just really takes a special like dynamic of people. And I'm excited that I had that route to be in law enforcement, but I'm even more excited that I'm like able to now do this like auxiliary side of law enforcement now as like a spouse and support.
Do you think it helps you understand him better because you were part of it?
Yeah, no doubt. I think, and this is not to say that, other wives who haven't gone through it can't be a phenomenal wife.
Totally.
But it's a lot easier for me to be like, shit, okay, he's stuck on this call and maybe it's a nasty call. And maybe like when he comes home, he's checked out. And like, I'm aware of that because I've been at those nasty calls. Or it's like, oh, okay, like I can tell when he's like really stressed out and he's like a different man. And I'm like, I know something's off because I've been the different woman in, following my stuff. So it allows me to kind of like play a checks and balance with him and like recognize like, hey, something's off. I know that because I've seen that something off in me as well. And I think that honestly, I think that is what makes us stronger. Is I'm not like I'm not again I'm not saying other wives are, but I'm not an overly needy wife. I'm not like a I need to be in your business. Like we don't need to text all day long. Like I know you've got work to do. I respect it. Like I'm doing my thing over here. But I think like honestly, both of us having that element in our lives, like he can talk openly to things like about things to me, and I'm not the type that's like, oh, that's too much for me to handle, or like and again, I want to make it clear that's okay if
No,
you're
yeah.
like that. But in our relationship, in our dynamic, I think it has actually helped us a lot, and it has helped us a lot grow throughout, his career, having ended my career and starting a new one and being a parent and all that kind of stuff. I think it's helped a ton.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, when you say needy, it doesn't have to be negative. It just means like
Oh,
you can be needy, but you also
yeah.
need to understand that they still are working, right? So
Yeah,
we
it's
can be
just a
both.
different dynamic. This life is just a different dynamic. Like, I see a lot of like posts online, and people could be like, "Well, my husband doesn't talk to me all day long," and I'm like, "Well, sometimes that happens. Like, I know that
Hmm.
because I've been stuck on calls where
Yeah.
you are so inundated with it, and so it's just like aspects of that where I'm like, okay, if he's not talking to me or if he's not responding, it's probably because he's busy, and it's not because he doesn't love me anymore or anything
Yes.
like that, right?
Let's not take it personal, everyone.
Yeah,
Okay. It's deep
yeah.
breaths, deep
Yeah,
breaths.
exactly.
Um, the police image overall right now, like
Mhm, mhm.
we're in a crazy time. I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
we've been in a crazy time for a long freaking
for a long
time.
time. Yeah,
Um, what do you like? What would you say to somebody who's new, who's new spouse, and they're coming
yeah,
into this, and they're like, "Holy shit!"
overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Don't watch the news
mm,
as much as you can. I also do think though that it's really important to be like grounded in your friendships and your relationships outside of law enforcement. Find people that you trust and that love you and support you that kind of take you out of that negativity. Because just because that's a reality and we see it on the media and all that doesn't necessarily think like majority of the people don't actually dislike law enforcement or first responders, right? You just always hear the loudest, and the
hmm,
loudest are always on the media. And so I think if you're grounding yourself with people who are removed from, this line of work because they tend to get negative, because they hear all the negative all day long, I think if you find people that will support you and can like bring you back to reality, it's a really beautiful place to be. Yes, we have this side and we do have the reality, like if our first responders go out and like something bad happens, maybe they're on the media, maybe they, die in the line of duty, whatever that looks like. I pray never, but it's reality. But you also need to have this other side that's like, there are still good people out there. There are people that love you. There are people that are going to support you and really lean into those people. And I think that could help a new wife because it is hard. And you may have a spouse that is on the media. I was on the media, and you may have to work through that. And those things are hard to navigate. But as a whole, I would say that society actually does support us. They're just not as loud. So make sure you find the people that are willing to be loud for you.
I love that.
Um,
Um, Janae, why do you think women specifically, like in the first responder realm, are always looking for community? Like, I feel like, and maybe because I'm in this community, I feel like there's every time someone says, comments and says like, "Oh my God, where have you been all my life?" It's like, where are you looking? I don't know. But why do you think, like, I feel like us, as specifically those first responder families, are really looking for community online, in person, like just in general?
I think that we don't realize until we talk that our experiences are so shared. You
Huh.
know what I mean? And that realizing that we have a shared experience is so validating to your frustrations. Um, there's so many people who outside of our life just refer to our husband's job as just a job and like, and And they're right. I mean, they're not wrong. It is just a job. But at the same time, there's not very many other careers, jobs that have such a domino effect to your family around you. You know, our own careers, our own parenting, our own day to day life is impacted by this, career that they have chosen. And so there's a lot of feelings of resentment that can happen if we don't communicate with each other, if we don't even laugh over like the silly things. A common thing that, firewives laugh about is like day one is, you don't schedule anything on day one because they're coming home, they're tired, they're grumpy, whatever, like little things like that, that like even just saying that to another firewife, they're like, oh yeah, like been there, always been there, and feeling that is like just that sense of validation makes you happy again. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like
Yeah.
it's just that shared experience is just finding positivity, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just a way to really like feel seen and realize, oh, I'm actually not
Yeah.
crazy. Like this is totally normal to
Yeah.
feel this way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me because I don't know. I guess there's no auxiliary clubs anymore, right? Like there's not a lot of, I guess that's how the spouses used to do it before, is like form an auxiliary club within the department. And that's how the spouses kind of connected. And they don't
Uh-huh.
do that anymore, right? We don't have that. I don't see that anymore. Is that, do you
No,
guys have
I
anything
think
like
we're
that
just
within your departments?
no.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's why we're kind of like left to figure it out ourselves, right? Like we're left to kind of figure out how to create that village. And one of the reasons why Bree and I, had kind of, I would say, joined forces as it is to really help create that village for women and that sense of community, that sense of sport, that sense of understanding within a group of women who just get it, like who just understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bree, what do you think is lacking in like the bridge between first responders and their home life?
Um, I got a lot of opinions on this one. I think there's a dynamic in like having gone through an academy. When you go through an academy, you're like bred to believe that this is it. This is all you are. Focus on this. Everything comes after. And I think we're missing the element of like where a family fits in that. I think that keeping like the nuclear family together is one of the most powerful things that we can do just as a society. I think we're just a healthier society if we have families that are staying together. But honestly, I wouldn't even say that it's just law enforcement completely or first responders. I think that's just society as a whole that we don't put enough value on a mother and a father household. And I can say that I came from a single parent household. My mom did a phenomenal job, I think. Um, but I think that there's this just disconnect where it's like, no doubt you guys need to be on top of your game. Let's rock and roll, life or death. Your mind needs to be in the right place. But there's like this element we're missing throughout all of it, throughout the academy, throughout your getting hired on your agency, throughout your career, where it's like my wife, my kids, my husband, my kids are just as important as this career and it needs to come first before that. We don't have that. And I think that's what's missing. And I don't know how we fix that. I don't know if that's bringing more spouses in. I don't know if it's like, hey, come see what I do. I don't know how we fix that. But in my mind, there's that disconnect is like, okay, we have our cops here. We think they're great, but like we're gonna keep the families a little away. And I think that it could be much more powerful if we're a part of this and we feel like we're a part of it, but we're not most of the time. There are some agencies that have spouse groups. Like there's one county that's close to us that has like a really big spouse group. There's a lot of drama in it. I don't know if that's like something that's we're running into. Is that we're finding out there's drama. Obviously, like I think we all know first responder life is like high school is what it feels
Totally.
like most of the time. And so I don't know if that's also part of why we don't like engage in it because we're like, we don't want the drama. But I know when we created this, when, Jennae and I have been working this, like my number one thing was like, I don't need drama. I don't need a specific agency going after it with another. I don't need that. Like we're really here to support people. And if that's how we do it, then that's how we do it. Maybe it isn't agency specific. Maybe when you get too many people at the same agency in one room,
Mhm.
that's what creates the issues and the department doesn't want that. I don't know. I've never been admin, so I don't know. I'm not married to admin yet. One day I'll know, right? But that's where I think that disconnect is that we're not we teach our cops like this is it, this is the most important, and then we kind of keep family at bay for whatever reason, and it needs to be like it kind of needs to be reversed. I think we need to put more focus on our families, and then the job can come after. And I will say, like my husband's peer support, and he's really big on that. And like he was just telling me the other day, he's a sergeant of a really young team, and he told his guys, like, if your family calls you and needs you, then go. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll cover your beat, whatever that is. And he's like, you'll not, again, you won't hear me say anything negative because he is a great guy. But I'm like, I wish more sergeants had thought like that. Like, crap, this is where the importance is this. I think I'm not saying all cops. I'll preface this with all this because I don't want people to get offended, but I will say most of your good cops are going to have really strong home lives. And most of your cops that are going down a really rough patch of drinking alcohol or drinking drugs, whatever that may be, are likely having a lot of issues at home. And so I think if we focus on that, if we focus on our families
Mm.
more, you're going to see more good cops and it's going to go back into the community in a better sense. So I don't know how we do it,
I
but we're
All
working on
comes
it.
full
full
circle.
circle.
Full
Everything
Mhm.
circle,
comes full
yeah.
circle. Like I said it kind of like jokingly that like a happy wife is a happy life. And that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why we did this. But truly, like our spouses at home, if these men can come home to
Yeah.
happier homes, it all just is full
Goes
circle,
back into the community. Yeah.
hmm
I
It's
completely agree
interesting
with you.
what Bree had even said was that the unsolicited advice I give to new firemen is always don't look at this career as wholeheartedly separate from your family. Like
Yeah.
everyone's going to have, their career, their job, but truly try to do everything you can to not shut your family out because if we aren't included in the positive aspects of your job, and the
Yeah.
only things that we see are the negative. It's you stressed out, PTSD, you're tired, you're angry, you're coming home. And that's the only thing that we get. Of course, there's going to be resentment. Of course, there's going to be frustrations. Of course, you're going to have an unhappy spouse at home. But adversely, I tell the women, I'm like, hey, if there's any opportunity that you have to go to the retirement dinners, the crab
Yeah.
feeds, the station to go, visit your spouse, go they're working on holidays, like do what you can to to be there for them on holidays. And we always do like Christmas parties and that kind of thing, and sometimes like you might be socialed out, but at the same time it's like being able to see your husband in the joy of the job and being able to experience that joy with them is so huge, and it really does help that whole family dynamic because everything does come full circle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I used to go to the
Yeah.
socials to be social, and now I go to the socials to be with my husband. There's a huge difference, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
not antisocial at the social, but I'm not there for everyone else. I'm there to
Sure.
support my
Right.
husband.
Hmm.
And I think like you said, like if more people take that
Yeah.
approach, like go visit your spouse, like go
Yeah.
visit your law enforcement officer, your firefighter, go visit
Mhm.
them. You're not there to, show face for everyone. You're
No.
there to support your partner. And
Yeah.
that is, I mean, like, I work. My husband comes and travels with me sometimes because he wants to be with me, not because he wants to go work with me. He wants to
Yeah.
see me, right? It's the same concept. It's like, and I think it's interesting what you said because, like, Bree, you made a valid point when you said, when they go through the academies, they're very much taught like you must do your job. Your job is number one.
Yep.
Okay, if your job is number one, what am I, right? Like
Right.
if
Right.
Mhm.
if you set them up like that, it's doom for the family. If you don't
Yeah.
say like, "Hey, your job is your job, but you also have a spouse at home that you need to take care of and you need to lock in when you're at home."
Yep.
That is the key piece I think that's missing. I think you totally nailed it.
Mhm.
I think there is like an element to also when they say like, "Oh, leave your job at home." Or sorry, leave your job at work and leave your home at
Mhm.
home. That's not true in this line of work at all. And I don't think there's certain jobs you can disconnect pretty well, but not like when you're in close quarters with somebody for a really long period of time. What are you going to talk about at work? You're not talking about
Mhm.
work for a 48-hour shift. You're talking about your kids. You're talking about your wife. You're talking about your partner, whatever, all those things. You don't leave your home life at at home. You don't leave your job at home. And I think like with the mental health thing, especially too, you have to bring your job home now. You have to be able to talk about it with your spouse because they have to understand you at work because you're bringing that home. Even if you say you're not, you are. And
Mhm.
if we don't
Yeah.
understand why, and we don't understand why you don't want to communicate today and you need to take a nap or like you are completely checked out because we don't know what happened at work, we take it personal and that just
Mhm.
leads to just more garbage piled on to us, not understanding what the hell is going on, right? So it's always like a interesting like dynamic trying to figure out how we can get like the administration to understand like this is not like 1950 anymore. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, like I don't want to discredit the spouses who came, before us because they did a hell of a job and they didn't know any better. But now that we know better, I think we have a duty to fix the problem, at least contribute to the betterment of the job. And without pissing everyone off, right? That's always like the
That's the
fine
hard
line we
part.
walk. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
always like that's we and a lot of the spouses that you see out online and stuff get shit on a lot for like, oh, you're just a wife, shut up, like you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like I do know what I'm talking about actually because he's been in this service for 20 years. I've seen his moods. I've seen all the shit that he's had to go through, and I'm the one that's helping him at home. You're not, you know.
Yeah.
And prior to peer support and all of those things, it's like we are the ones that get the shit. And then no wonder why we hate you. We hate the department. We don't want to be around anybody because we don't trust you because you're not taking care of our partner, right? And then
Right.
we have to do it all. And the
Mhm.
resentment builds and there's just, there's a lot. So I think it's like breaking the stigma of like, oh, you're just a wife or you're just a spouse, right? It's like, no, hold on, back up. And also like letting administration understand, like, no, we do know what we're talking about. Like,
Mhm.
y'all got to let us in a little bit, just a little, just a
Just a
little.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with people like me and you, the more we talk about it,
Mhm.
hopefully we can get to a positive place where it's like, oh, wait, oh, these people do know what they're doing. And yes, they can help us. And this is great. And I think it's interesting with you two, especially because fire and police, there's obviously like a lot of jokes in the first responder world about like who's better, police or fire.
Yeah.
But when you kind of like sync them together, it's such a unique perspective because you're really just full scope. And that's pretty cool. Tell me how you guys met and like how you see like your partnership pushing the direction into like a more positive space.
So I'm gonna say how we met. I stalked Bree online like
I love
repeatedly.
it. Love it.
She was on a panel for the Placer County Association of Realtors, and I was like, she knows what she's talking about. She's fantastic. And then in seeing, I joined one of her Facebook groups that is a first responder Facebook group, and just seeing her passion and realizing that we had this mutual shared hope in helping women and building up women and being supportive to women. I was just like quietly obsessed with her on the
I
sidelines.
feel the same.
And and I mean, the thing about Brie is that Brie truly in her heart really, really wants to support women around her. And she started doing some of these kind of small meetups, once a month, once every other month, just to try to get women together. And I knew that, and I had come up with the initial idea to do like a bigger event, and having kind of that the soundboard between the two of us being a fire wife and being a police wife, and was like there's no one else I'd want to do it with than with Bree, because A, I knew that she had a heart for it, but B, I mean, she's rad, so I knew that it was gonna be fun.
Yeah, Janae's and I'll hype her up a little bit too. It's really nice because I have found that like the events that I hold, I usually get like maybe 5 to 10 women, and I've got like 300. We have like 300 people in the group, but I always get the same feedback, and it's that they're always scared to come, and I never want that to be the thing. And so, like, when I met Jennae, she's always been like very comfortable and like very inviting, and she's very like just herself, authentically herself. And if there's anything that like I want to associate any part of the group with or myself with, this is that we're all super authentic to what we need and what we believe and all of that. And so when Jennae came to me about this, I was like, yeah, let's rock this. I'll change the whole group. Like, we'll make it all about this because I believe we're bringing something to these women, to our women, to this family that they need, that they don't have. And like, who better to do it than someone who's like ready to rock and like super authentic in doing it, and that can bring people in and get them connected without it feeling like pressure. And I don't know why the wives feel pressure. I don't know what about it makes them like nervous to get with other wives. I don't know that yet. We've been doing this for a while, but I haven't really figured out what it is. But like, once they start coming, I notice that they're fine then, and then they'll come to more things, and then they're more comfortable. And like, that's essentially what I just want. I just want women to be comfortable in what we're doing. The people they're around, I want them to feel supported. If at any point it's like, no, no, we're not feeling supported, like something's wrong, like we're fixing it quick, because we need these women to have somewhere to go when they need help. And we have that. And it's really nice in the group. Like, if you scroll through, you can see those women posting, I need help with this. How are you guys coping with this? So on and so forth. And it's like, thank God we have that, because law enforcement, I don't know fireside technically, but law enforcement, they have peer support to go to if they need it, right? What do the wives have? We don't have a peer support team to go to. And so essentially, like Jennae, like, Jennae asked me to do this. And I'm like, yeah, it feeds right into what we're already doing. Like, we're going to be peer support. We're going to create these events. We're going to be around the wives. We want to support them in any way we can. And so she's just been, I've loved working with her. But yeah, so it's just been really cool to work with her and like putting this all together. I'm super excited to see like where we go with it.
It's been so fun because both Brie and I obviously work full time and then have our littles. And so, in typical working mom fashion, we're texting each other at like
Yeah.
9, 10, 11 o'clock at
10
night
o'clock.
and like
Yeah.
making plans for like whatever we're talking about or whatever we're doing or whatever. And it's not too often that you're planning events at, 11 o'clock
Yeah.
at night, but she
No.
gets it and I
That's
get
pretty
it.
standard
And
for a
it's how
mom.
we're doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then even today, I was like, in true first responder family fashion, my husband told me last minute that he's not going to be home to watch. I have two. And I'm like, okay, I guess we'll just rock with it. We'll figure it out. He's been pretty
Totally.
good so
Just
far. The
roll
other
with
one's
it.
napping, but yeah, I'm
Yep.
like, we'll just make it work because this is
Yeah.
authentic and this is reality to what we deal with. So
This is what we do, right?
yeah,
We make it work.
make it work.
We make
Yeah,
it work. Okay, tell
exactly.
me about the in-person event that you guys are having in April.
So we are having an event on April 12th in Loomis, California, and we're super excited. We're just bringing in as many firewives and police wives as want to come in. We've already had a handful of sponsors reach out for us for, monetary donations, some baskets, some like fun stuff for the women. But ultimately the goal is, and Brie and I are going to be speaking and kind of telling our story and kind of sharing our why and gathering these women together. But it really is a conscious effort to provide just a fun event for our fire spouses to be surrounded by other women who, like I always keep saying, it's just like we just get it. We understand, and we're going to have dinner and drinks and music, and we're going to have kind of some fun social things to do, but ultimately it's kind of it is what you make of it kind of thing. So we're hoping that it becomes a girls' night for some. And then for some that are coming solo, we've got a lot of women who are coming by themselves, that it's their opportunity to make friends within this community as well.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that I'll add on there, and when Jennae and I talked about this, is that I've been to a lot of like first responder, like spouses seminars, and I think they're all phenomenal. I always have something to take away to be a better spouse to my husband, but they're always so heavy on like, how can we support our officer, or how can we support our first responder? And again, a ton of value in that. But we go back to missing that element of how can we be supported, because we're just as important as our spouses, right? And sometimes we lose that as moms and as wives. We're like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of important too over here. Like, I'm raising kids and like supporting my husband. Some of us are working, some of us are stay at home moms, which are just as hard, if not harder. Like, all
Yeah.
of it is hard. And so I feel like we lost that element when we started getting into seminars about how we can support them. And so when Jennae brought this up, it was like, okay, I want this to be only about spouses. I don't want
Yeah.
us to be up on a panel talking about how we can help them. I want to know how we can help the wives, because that's who we're here. That's who we're here to support for. Like
Mhm.
that's what I want this to be about. So I want it to be heavy on that, that like if anybody is listening and interested and in the area, like we are here to support you. If you need assistance on how you can support your officer, your firefighter, whatever that is, we can give you those resources. But this is something for you and only you. And I like we're really excited to bring that to everyone and just have a good time.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
unusual,
Yeah.
but awesome.
Yeah.
And then if anybody wants to get tickets, you have a link on your Instagram, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got an Eventbrite link in our bio that they can go and they can grab tickets.
Awesome. Okay, I ask everybody on the podcast this question.
Uh-oh.
Janae, you're gonna go first.
Let's go.
Don't think too
Uh-oh.
hard. What do you want
Let's go.
your legacy to be for your kids, yourself, your family, your life? What does your legacy
Oh
look
my
like?
gosh, that one's heavy.
That is
Yes.
heavy.
Yeah. Bree gets time to think. Okay.
Um, I think I, as a boy mom, realized they don't have sisters as any kind of like influence. And so there's a lot of example I set for womanhood for them. And I am a working mom. Again, I mean, I never discredit stay-at-home moms because I could not be one. I always wanted to be a working mom. Um, I mean, there are some days where I'm like, "Oh, I'd really like to stay at home," but,
No, I have to do this.
I
Yeah.
but I do want to be a good example to my sons. I want my legacy to be them seeing what kind of woman that they would want in life, and knowing that I made a positive impact. I didn't just, do the bare minimum, that I really fought for positivity, that I fought for, this life that I'm living right now, and having them have a better childhood, and them having potential future careers, whether it be in fire or anything, but really paving the way for them to have, better families in the future. And ultimately, yeah, I just want to be a good example to them. I just want to be a good mom.
I love it. Okay,
I
Bree.
think
Yeah.
you are. You are
Thanks.
already. Say it 3 times.
Thanks.
I'm a boy mom as well, and we're not having any more, so I'm strictly a boy mom. I love it on this side.
Dun
Sometimes
dun
I wonder
dun.
if I should have. Sometimes I wonder if I should have tried for a girl. I don't know. But I think I would agree with Janae. That's a really like beautiful way to look at it. It is a kind of different dynamic because I do want my boys to, have powerful women that they look up to. They support all of that stuff. But I think most the legacy that I would want for actually just my whole family is that I just want us to be kind and give a lot of grace where grace can be given. My husband like always makes jokes. He's like, "Oh, you're always using the word grace." I just don't think we give it enough to people. And so I want my boys to always be kind and be grace. And I always say this. People will always be like, "Oh, your boys are so beautiful," and I agree. But I always follow with it and really kind, because I want them to be
Mhm.
beautiful on the outside, but I also want them to be beautiful on the inside. And so I hope my boys are kind. I hope they've watched their parents be kind and graceful when we can be. And in the moments when you can't, you also have to be that too. And you have to be strong in that and believe in those things. Like people may have a different view than us and we can still respect them.
Mhm.
We can still give them grace where they need it. And so I want that for just actually my whole family, grace and kindness when it can be
Yeah,
warranted.
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Oh my gosh. Any final thoughts, ladies?
Oh,
No.
just be
I've
kind
been
to your first responder spouses.
Seriously. Oh
We're
my
just
God.
surviving out here. No,
We
we
are
thank you for
surviving.
having us. Yeah, we thank you for having us. I
And
think
we're out here
we're a
drowning. Okay.
yeah, we're a
I've
unique group
for
of
real.
women,
Yeah.
and I just really want everybody to support each other where we can, and that's why we're doing this, and that's why we have podcasts like this, because people are coming to you to find support, even if it's not one on
Mhm.
one, it's watching a video, and that works too. However, we can reach people, I think is
Yeah.
Mhm.
important.
And
So
I truly wish that those like Facebook groups and all of those groups were not so toxic,
yeah.
because then it would be helpful. I don't know. Like just
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I follow some of them because it's almost comical sometimes the stuff that I see, and I'm like, Oh gosh, this is why they don't want spouses involved, guys.
It's kind of true. You
Relax.
kind of got a
It
point
is.
there,
I
Bree.
get it. I get
Like,
it.
you're
But I'm
the
like,
reason.
stop. Like, take a breath. Come to this side. Come to our side. We're gonna
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
kind and work through it.
I gotta get out. I gotta get out.
Okay, go. It
Yeah.
it sucks you in so easily because
Oh,
you just
It
so
have to
does.
bad.
ignore the comments, but you wanna comment back so bad.
You're just
Sometimes I
like,
do it
Yeah.
just for fun, but,
yes, totally. I'm like, oh, let's do some drama today. Let's get some.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Let's just add fuel to the fire just for fun.
My life's a little boring.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm bored.
Maybe
Keep it spicy.
And then you're like,
Keep
oh,
it
I
spicy.
Yeah.
regret.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You two are
Absolutely.
just absolute gems. If you want to learn more about the Thin Line Collective, they're on Instagram at thin_line_collective. I will tag them in the show notes and also on my page. Um, I'm just, I love this. I'm excited for you guys. I really hope your
Thank you.
in-person event is amazing. I'm gonna try to come.
Thank you. Please.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.